Happy holiday, happy holiday. May the calendar keep bringing happy holidays to you.
Hey everyone, this is Josh Hayward and welcome to day 7 of the 12 days of CRAFTmas. That's right, we are over halfway through with this amazing series and it's been a ton of fun. We've really seen a variety of brews, everything from Belgians to white IPAs to regular IPAs to winter warmers. It's been a lot of fun and we've got 2 more great beers for you tonight. If you'll remember, last night we took a look at the Big Moose and the Naughty Bear, kind of going along with the animal theme. I've got 2 dog themed brews tonight. We actually have the K9 Winter Warmer from Flying Dog Brewing, and we also have the 12 Dogs of Christmas Ale from the Thirsty Dog Brewing Company. So 2 dog-themed brews here for you tonight. I thought about having my boxer pup Bo join me with this, but that would have been tough trying to do a beer review with the pup running around. By the way, he's actually resting. So anyways, gonna crack into these brews and this should be a ton of fun. To those of you who've been following along, thank you so much. It's been so great to have the dialogue back and forth on these brews and really hearing what you guys think about some of these. So I've got 2 more great ones for you tonight. This is the K9 Winter Warmer from Flying Dog Brewing Company. They're out of Frederick, Maryland, I believe. I think that is correct. This particular brew is 7.4% ABV. This is billed as a winter warmer ale brew with cardamom, vanilla bean, and cocoa. So kind of similar to the Naughty Bear from last night, being the winter warmer style. This looks to be a little bit more spiced as far as spices go, but I'm sure many of you guys have heard of Flying Dog. I think the Raging Bitch is their famous brew, one of their famous brews. I actually don't get a ton of their brews down this way, but whenever I come across them, I do like to reach for them, pick them up. But if this one's anything like what comes out of their brewery, we're in for a treat. I wanted to jump in and start talking about this beer immediately, but had to finish talking about Flying Dog. But here, as you can see, we have a rather dark brew. This is one of the darkest brews we've had thus far, actually. Kind of reminds me of the Wintertide winter ale that we had from Sierra Nevada a couple nights ago. But this is a dark copper, dark amber, nearly brown beer here. Very, very beautiful beer. There is just a slight bit of haze in it, not too much. I would say that mainly the opacity, if that's the correct word, the opaqueness of the beer is coming from that darker color. But this is making me, just seeing it, I'm thinking darker malts, maybe some notes of chocolate, maybe some notes of espresso, maybe some notes of molasses. Just depends on the type of malt that they used in their grain bill. But this is by far pretty, yeah, I think this is the darkest brew we've had thus far. This is kind of what you would typically think of when you think of a winter ale, winter beer, winter warmer, kind of in that I guess, range of color. This being more on the darker side, actually, before you start getting over to your porters and stouts and whatnot. But very, very pretty beer. Colder days lead to darker ales. And this is a very, very pretty tan color head there. Just looks like a great beer. Looks like a hearty beer. As I give it a swirl, I'm kind of reminded of some of the porter beers. Just hearty porter type beers with a creamy, frothy head there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this beer. Let's see what we've got on the nose. Oh, chocolate, cocoa for sure. Some vanilla. Yeah, definitely some cocoa notes there. Nice chocolate, dark toasted bread maybe, and then a sweetness from some vanilla for sure. So let's see what we have. Cheers. It's not a bad beer. It's kind of almost a mesh of styles, kind of a mouthfeel of like a porter beer in a way. kind of aftertaste, after the swallow on the palate. You're getting some of the bitterness and the dryness from some of those darker malts. Again, very similar to a porter beer or a stout. Even now, I'm getting the almost burnt bread malty flavor. I'm getting some of the molasses. It's very, very subtle. I'm getting some of the dark chocolate. Think dark baker's chocolate, like high in the percentage on however they do that percentage. Not sweetness from the chocolate, but a bitterness from the chocolate. But it's very pleasant. Goes very, very well. And then there's a nice sweetness in there. I think it definitely comes from that vanilla. Shame on me for not really knowing what cardamom tastes like. It's been a little while since I've tried any cardamom, but I can't recognize it, but I'm pretty sure it's in there. I feel like that vanilla adds a nice sweetness to some of the bitterness from these malts, and it's almost like a cold glass of cocoa in a way. Not overly boozy, which is nice. Easy drinking. A nice mouthfeel there. A hearty beer, like hard day's work and outside in the wintertime. You want something that's hearty, something that's filling, something that tastes good, that drinks easy, but will warm you on the inside. That's this beer. And the K9 definitely delivers. I'm knocking this one out. This beer is very different from anything we've had thus far. Even more different from the Wintertide from Sierra Nevada. This is what I think of when I think of winter warmer. It's just as I swallowed that, just warm on the inside for sure. Coming in from that, let's see, the 7.4%. It's not overly boozy on the palate though, which is nice. Just very, very. I think it's a refreshing beer in that it's hearty. It's very enjoyable for the colder winter days. But I really like this one. This is a pretty good beer. I really like the malty, the dry malty toasted bread, almost burnt bread, dark chocolate, even hints of espresso flavors from those malts. That's very, very good. Really enjoy that. So really enjoy that beer. It's a good one. Next we have the 12 Dogs of Christmas Ale, in keeping with the dog theme tonight. This is 8.3% ABV and 21.5 IBUs. This is coming from the Thirsty Dog Brewing Company out of Akron, Ohio. Special thanks to Brew for sending me this one. She is phenomenal in hooking me up with some amazing Ohio beers. Always hooks me up with some things from Fatheads as well. But another great local Ohio brewery. I don't think that I've had anything from Thirsty Dog, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. But there's a first time for everything, and might as well let the first time be the 12 Dogs of Christmas. This beer is a little bit different, and as you can already tell from the pour, it's a little lighter in color. But this is an ale brewed with honey and spices. So we've had some honey in some of our other beers. Naughty Bear actually had some local clove honey in it, as well as some spices. So this may be a little more closer to that. But just comparing side by side, the K9 is definitely darker, and several shades darker on the SRM scale if you're talking beer judging and whatnot. I would say that the 12 Dogs is kind of more of a copper amber, kind of middle of the road, slightly just starting to get a little darker in the amber, and this is definitely copper going towards brown for sure. For the K9. So a little bit lighter, leads me to believe, and just in comparison, that the malt bill is going to be a little lighter as well. Probably not going to experience some of those darker malts, bitter malts, those heavily toasted malts that provide the chocolate flavors, the molasses flavors, the espresso flavors, the dryness and the bitterness. Probably not going to have as much of that here. I'm just guessing, probably going to have some more caramel notes, maybe even some toffee notes, toasted bread, as opposed to a near burnt bread, charred bread. So I'm looking forward to this one too. This one has a lighter head, I believe, just in comparison. This is more of this was tan. I would say this is more of a creamy type head, creamy or a white, slightly off-white head. but I'm gonna check this one on the nose now. Oh, lots of spice and sweetness in here. Definitely getting some of the sweetness from the honey and some of the spice, maybe even some caramel notes from some of the malt just at first sniff. But this is, comparison's sake, yeah, lighter, sweeter on this beer than this one. This being more pronounced, a little more bitter, a little more malty for sure. So, cheers. Oh, wow. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. Lots and lots of spice in this beer, for sure. Almost reminds me of some of those pumpkin beers that I had that were rather heavily spiced. I feel like it works in this one, though. Kind of Christmas time, Christmas season. Spices are showing up in a variety of foods. You're seeing it in ciders, you're seeing it in pies, you're seeing it in sides and fixins for Christmas dinner. I feel like it works well. I would kind of see this a little more as a dessert beer, just because the sweetness is coming through. I feel like I can, again, just comparing them, and I'm glad I have these two to compare because they're very different takes on the winter warmer. This would be more hearty, long day's work, want something nice to drink, to enjoy, to sip on, maybe even drink a couple of them. Just a nice hearty beer. This, I feel like it should be something enjoyed with, post dinner, something to enjoy as you sip on it, just because it's more sweet. It's more sweet, it's more spiced. It's not something you can drink a ton of. I'm not getting a ton of malt flavor in there at all. If anything, it's just very, very subtle. Toasted bread, maybe slight hints of caramel in there. The spice is what's on display in this beer. The spice and then the sweetness from the honey for sure. A good beer though, not a bad beer by any means, but a different vision on the winter warmer. I've loved this series so much more than pumpkin, because pumpkin was just pumpkin. It's been so many different visions and takes on a winter style ale or a winter warmer or a winter beer, Christmas beer, and what the vision of the brewer is, or the vision of the brewery, what they want to achieve. And I can definitely be thankful for and respect both of these takes. Just very, very excellent. Both have their place, both are enjoyed in different contexts, and both are brewed very well. I'm not getting any off flavors in either of these beers. Some people do not like spiced beers, so they might not like the 12 Dogs of Christmas Ale. But if you do like spiced beers, I'd reach for that one. That was pretty well done. The spice it's in your face as soon as you take a sip. But I feel like it works. I feel like it really works for winter time. It kind of reminds me of Christmas. Kind of reminds me of the holidays. Just the spices that you smell and decorations, candles, those types of things. Kind of all goes together. But two very, very good brews this evening. Day 7 is definitely a win. I really enjoyed both of these brews. If you've had either of these, let me know what you think. Both the K9 and the 12 Dogs. I'd love to know what you think about them, what you liked about them, what you didn't like about them. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for following along. This has been a ton of fun. We've got several more days, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 brews a day from here on out, I believe, except for the last day. I actually had a few brews come in the mail, which is great, so I'm really looking forward to integrating them in the 12 days. I think when it's all said and done, we'll hit about 20 beers, so that's phenomenal. 12 days of CRAFTmas has been a ton of fun. Thank you guys so much again for following along. You guys have a great night. Merry CRAFTmas, Merry Christmas. You guys have a great day. Cheers.